A customer asked us to go ahead and strengthen the deadbolt locks on their back gate and on their wooden back doors. We came up with two solutions. One was to go ahead and have the outside cylinders modified so that they were bump resistant. The other was to install reinforcement plates. And so the video about making the lock cylinders bump resistant or bump key resistant, that's going to be a future video. But for now, we're going to discuss the reinforcement plates we put in. And we put it in on this metal gate, and we put them in on a wooden door. So stay tuned, and we'll show you how to do it. One of the problems you run into on a deadbolt, whether it's mounted on this metal gate, this box here, or on a wooden door, is the metal, in this case, on this box or this gate, it's not very thick. And if you have a chisel, or in this case a ball joint tool, if you have a ball joint tool and a hammer, it isn't too difficult to hammer into the metal and cause it to bend and deform and then just pry the lock out. It would be much easier if it was wood. Just deform the wood and you can break the cylinder right off. So the reinforcement plate helps take care of this. You put one or two rings around here and it would be harder to go dent the metal or the wood, hard to dent it in and pry this lock out. These reinforcement plates are sold as a pair. So they're available in chrome finish and in brass finish. And these are normally used to cover up the hole. For example, if the lock size was originally larger and you're installing a smaller lock, these help cover it up so things will fit. Also, they help cover up any ugly marks that are in the door from drilling. But they're also good for working as a reinforcement. If you were to try to hammer into this, it would be harder. So this is covering the wood in the door. It would be harder to break into the wood and get a chisel underneath the lock mechanism and pry it out. And these are available typically from Lowe's or Home Depot for about around $7 or so as of December 2022. We'll take apart the lock mechanism. We'll just undo the screws for the deadbolt in the back, and we'll pull out the front and the back, and we'll slip the rings on. Since we're reinforcing the deadbolt in the front, we'll use both of these rings in the front. After you've had the deadbolt removed in the front and deadbolt or locking piece in the back taken out, you fit the deadbolt over these plates. Now, these plates have these screw holes on the four corners. Don't worry about them, we really don't need them in this case. Just make sure the holes line up so that way everything looks nice. So once you have the holes lined up, you just line the deadbolt over it. This particular deadbolt has plastic tabs which help lock it in place on the door. We'll just make sure these fit over it carefully. Now they fit over it. Now everything's lined up. And we're ready to stick this into the door here. And of course, make sure that the stem is aligned up with the opening. So you're gonna have to go ahead and make sure that things are lined up. It only fits one way. So we have this front deadbolt on. Now we have to fit the back deadbolt with the screws. I like to use duct tape to hold things in place. So that way, if we let go of this cylinder, it's going to drop to the floor. We're going to tape it in place. And after it's taped in place, we can go behind it and we can go grab the other deadbolt and tighten the screws in. Don't need much. We just need to hold this thing in place so it doesn't go anywhere. And now we have it in place. Okay, so now we just got to go tighten up the screws. And again, just like the front, you have to make sure the stem that goes from this cylinder into here actually fits okay. So notice here, this is the stem right here. I have to fit that carefully in there. Okay, wiggle it a little. Get it to fit. Now that we have it fitted, thumb holding it in place, put the screws in. I'm just gonna start the screws by hand, and once we feel that the screws are biting into the threads, okay, then we can just tighten up using an electric screwdriver now. Now don't over tighten, because if you over tighten, it might be hard to turn the key. Let's just tighten it up just a little. And then we'll try the key on it. And if the key is a loose fit, then we'll tighten it up just a little more. Now it's securely in place. And let's try the key. Okay, loose fit. Turns good. Turns good. Not tight, no hesitation. Let's turn around. Let's take a look at it. In place. And we just have to knock this over a little so the hole disappears. Let's loosen it up a little. So now the hole is covered. The plate is pretty much centered underneath the cylinder. And we've got a pair of metal rings strengthening this plate underneath this box. And let's test the key, this time on the front. Nice and smooth. And there you have it. We've reinforced the lock a bit more.